Yeah, the underlying thing, Judge, about these stocks is when everybody in the market hates them and you start getting analysts calling them uninvestable, you have to tiptoe into the tulips because the fundamental reason for owning these is exposure to the Chinese economy and the consumer. The growth rates inherent in these names are 20, 30, 40, 50, 55% annual growth. You can't get that anywhere else. Now, yeah, there's policy issues. Yes, there's the concern about ADRs and all of that. But how else do you get exposure in your portfolio to growth like this? You have to hold your nose on the volatility, but the fundamentals are why you invest. And you pick your opportunities when you get people slashing them. They went on sale 7 to 9% on Monday. And look at the upside. I mean, look, yes, it's volatility, but this is a time to actually start to own China again.
But what do you do with these, though? I mean, you're sitting literally in a couple of days on almost 30% gains, and in some cases, perhaps even more than that. I mean, you're a prudent guy. You're not just going to sit here forever, perhaps. What do you do?
Well, some of them have passed their 5% limit mandate, so I've trimmed those already. I can't own more than 5% in my mandate in any one name. And you're right, they've had extraordinary moves. But I'm keeping them at a full weighting right now because I don't have other opportunities with growth like this. And so you have to be able to say, okay, I'm going to take a portfolio approach with diversity. I'm going to go in with some rules in place, no more than 5% weighting. So I'm not going to let these stocks kill me on another downturn. But I'll stop owning these when they stop growing. And I don't see that happening for a long time. So I'm in.
But I mean, look, let's be honest. And I know I raised this with you the other day. Of course, they're growing, but the issues that were on the table because of the regulatory issues were real. They haven't gone away by any stretch. There's a positive headline that has driven these stocks up the magnitude of which we see today, but the risk is still there.
Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right. But the question is, how much risk are you willing to take for how much growth?
That's
right. When you show me a name that's growing at 45%, I can't find anything like that stateside. And also, these balance sheets are huge. These are mega cap stocks. They're massive. You can't get that in the FANGs anymore. We're just not growing the FANGs that fast. You have to be a decade ago or even more. So you're now getting a chance to buy Amazon essentially 17 years ago. Why wouldn't you do that? Just because it's got a bad zip code, it's in China. There's a lot of people there, and they're going to want goods and services. I got to be exposed. I got to have some exposure to that. And I get a lot of flack for it. I got to tell you, it's hate mail left and right.
Farmer Jim said he wouldn't drive his tractor anywhere near you on this kind of trade.
I think Farmer Jim wants to be on my tractor today.
Listen, the judge gave me a lesson today in how to be gracious, and I have to tip my hat to you, Kevin. Well done. Seriously, you were right. I was wrong. But you don't know this. I'm subbing for Steve Weiss today, so I've got to channel Steve, and I've got to say, you should be thanking me, because had I not been so vociferous talking against it, you wouldn't be right the very next day. So you actually owe me some gratitude.
Well, I think we're all investors. We get it right sometimes. We get it wrong sometimes. And Weiss is all over me like a dirty shirt on texting, believe me. So, look, I love Steve. But look,
very well done. Very well done.
Thank you.
Jim has learned well. Kevin, I appreciate you coming on. We reached out to you last minute, and I'm glad you were able to make it, because this was a great call that you made. And we'll see if it lasts. I mean, look. The jury's out
on crypto. You were so negative for a while and just definitive, like you always are. You may know nothing, but you're never in doubt. But you were so negative. Then you got totally positive. Do you own Bitcoin now? Kevin, what's your position in crypto right now? You do. Have you sold,
it's
sold major parts of it? You have a lot of it, or as much?
No. Look, Bitcoin is not a coin, Joe. It's simply software. Ethereum is software. If you own, HBAR software, if you own Microsoft, if you own Google, why don't you own Bitcoin? It's all software. It's productivity software.
You own one Bitcoin? Do you have a real position in it? Because you're a wealthy guy.
I have millions of dollars. 20% of my portfolio is now in cryptocurrencies and blockchain.
Hey, Kevin, so I was on the phone yesterday with a sort of a big-time crypto guy, and he was talking about how crypto was like the multiple operating systems for mobile telephones years ago. But it made me think maybe that means we're in the beginning of something which is fabulous, but it also makes me think of Palm. Does everyone remember Palm? Or RIM, which is BlackBerry? Or, you could go down the list. iOS and Android didn't show up to the scene until a decade or two after the fact. And I only raise it because I wonder sort of where you think we are in all of this and whether it means that the Bitcoins and some of the coins that we're looking at now and talking about will be around or will be obsolete in a decade from now.
Well, you have to be diversified. I own 32 different positions, including equity in FTX itself. And I have to disclose, I'm a paid spokesperson for that company. I'm backing their initiatives. But the whole point is, you don't know who's going to win. Is Ethereum going to win? Is Solana going to win? Is it Helium? Or is it Avalanche? I own them all. And luckily, they're just software development teams. You go meet these people, you find out they're in their 20s, they're the smartest engineers in the world. If you graduate from MIT right now, you don't want to work for an old industrial company. You want to go to a blockchain company. So we should support this initiative and be the leader in policy, because right now the world is waiting. The Canadians are more advanced. They have the very first crypto exchange. They have the very first ETF with Bitcoin in it. How come we don't? The same in the United Arab Emirates, the same in Switzerland. We are so far behind in policy for this nascent industry that's going to lead the world in financial services. We got to get going. Now, there is a bill. I'm reading. It's over hundreds of pages. This thing is, I went up to the Senate last Thursday and met with Senator Loomis and a bunch of bipartisan senators. They're trying to get their act together on this thing. But we got to get going. Chop, chop. Let's lead the world and put this thing together, because we're lagging.